I'd like to call this budget meeting to order. We were in recess from our Monday night meeting, and we'll reconvene this evening. Just to go through the budget, council took their budgets home on Monday evening to look at everything, and we have newly elected Councilman Lee Cousin here this evening with us. He was interested in the budget, so he's got to work with it next year for 24, and just wants to sit in and see how it works. But officially, he'll be sworn in January, along with the rest of council and the mayor. So, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so I guess we'll start. There's some notes that Mr. Dillon put in on page 1 and page 2 of the budget, explaining the millage has been the same in 2020 to 24. We dropped from 57.89 mils to 51.39 mils. Our budget has decreased. Tim, why don't you run through some of the highlights for everybody, and then we'll go back over it.
All right, basically, the proposed 2024 budgets calls for no tax increase. It will be a total of 51.39 mils, if this is what the council adopts. For your agenda on Monday evening, it will be to consider adopting the proposed budget that allows us to advertise the budget for the public to review and come in and inspect. We also put a copy at the library, and so then the budget would be adopted at your meeting in December. I don't know if council wants to meet the first Monday or the second Monday in December, so if you can decide.
It's definitely going to be the second Monday. I'm just, yeah, the 11th.
The 11th?
Yeah.
All right, so the idea would be to meet on December 11th and adopt all the budgets, all the tax millages, and any assessments. Debt service millage, there was no millage in 2023 because all of your general obligation bonds were paid off, except the one outstanding bond that's paid for by the liquid fuels money. That deals with the road program that council did approximately 15 years ago, where you did about 80-some% of the streets in town. And what's being proposed in the state liquid fuels budget is to pay that bond off in 2024. You don't have to pay it off until 2025, but the idea would be to pay off that outstanding bond using state liquid fuels money. That's the money you get from the state for the gasoline tax. So, and certainly with that being paid off, you have absolutely no debt, and that's it's taken us about 18 years, I think, to get there. It was about 18 years ago, like 51% of your tax revenue was going to pay for your bonds, which was like you're using, like a household would be paying 50% of their income monthly just to pay their credit card. So now, with this last payment that we should be able to defease that bond next year, you will not have any debt at all. So I think, the council has, tried not to incur any debt and keep paying it off. So it's taken a long time. So we have to make sure we definitely cut up our credit cards. Don't let anybody start spending, so.
We've been really watching what we do. I remember the criticism over borrowing the money to pave the roads when we did the major road program, they said they would all need to be done way, like, before we even paid the debt off, but the debt's getting paid off, and the roads are still in good shape, and we're still paving different sections of town, so it's a credit to the council that, I don't know too many boroughs or townships that are gonna have zero debt by the end of next year, zero. We owe nobody, and we have money in the bank, so, you know, it's being run like a business, and that's what it is. I'm sorry.
I'd like to skip the general fund budget, because that's
Yeah.
probably the most complicated and the lengthiest budget you have to deal with, so we can come back to that. The fire fund proposed remain the same at 3 mils. Received an email from Chief Slack today requesting some increases, and I'll get that information to you for Friday's packet, or certainly for Monday night, with a recommendation, and we can adjust the budget accordingly if you want to make any adjustments. So, but the fire fund would remain at 3 mils. Park and recreation, if you look at that budget, I think that's an important budget. A lot of the expenses within the park and rec is really to maintain all the open space that we have in town, which is over 110 acres. You know, the path and the ball fields, and so let me find the park and rec budget here.
And Otter Street too?
In Otter Street, the Otter Street Playground. So if you look at the recreation fund budget, at the end of 2022, we had a deficit of $2,609. That's on page 202 at the ending balance. And then in 2023 budget, we made some adjustments. We transferred whatever remaining funds we had in that debt service after we paid off those bonds. We transferred that into the park and rec to help that fund out. And then we now estimate that come the end of this year, we'll have approximately $190,000 in the park and rec budget. So I think we now have a solid park and rec budget, and next year we'll be eating a little bit into that estimated year-end deficit by close to $20,000, but still we'll have you know, approximately $172,000 remaining. We propose to under this budget, our recreation committee, dealing with flag football and basketball and soccer, give them a budget of $20,000, of which my understanding is the school board will reimburse the borough $10,000 of that expenditure. But that's what's proposed, and you know, it's always been discussed, the budget is a guide, but I really think the recreation budget is in excellent shape, and you know, given the fact that it costs us almost $200,000 a year just to maintain the open space and the recreational sites in town. So
I just want to say a few words on that. We're going to have a meeting with the Recreation Board trying to establish a budget that, to see if they have any new programs they want to implement or anything like that. So like Jim said, right now we have a guide, it's just a budget. We'll see when we meet with them if things change, that's no problem. But we also want to put some money back into the facilities. We wanted to do it last year. We talked about the dugouts, the fencing, a lot of stuff at Memorial Field, and, you know, working with the school district now and trying to get some stuff done with the track. Again, the school board, Mr. Ciccoletti's been outstanding to work with, and we want to keep this relationship going. So it's all about the kids. It's always been about the kids. We just never had anybody that really wanted to work with council to move this recreation program forward. So we're hoping that there's new ideas and more things to do, not only for kids, for seniors, and there's recreation for all ages. And I think we should, hopefully this board continues to move forward. So you're going to see some changes around town with recreation. Go ahead, Jim.
The next budget to look at, unless someone has any questions on the recreation portion, is the rescue squad. It will be 2 mills. It will be assessed for the rescue squad. It's proposed that the annual contribution from the borough will increase approximately $5,000 from $145,000 a year to $150,000. So the rescue squad received a new ambulance today, which will be paid for mainly by the RDA and some by the rescue squad itself, but it's certainly an important asset and operation that, you know, about 3 or 4 years ago, it was going bankrupt, and, council got involved, and, so I think it's in pretty good shape at the moment, the rescue squad budget.
On that a minute. So on the rescue squad, so everybody knows I'm also the president of the Bucks County Rescue Squad, and I have Mr. Dillon on the board along with Mr. Catroci. There were the 3 members from the borough, and there's 3 members from the township, but they elected me to be the president of the rescue squad. The rescue squad was going out of business 3 years ago. It was almost bankrupt, and we made some changes. We doing a better billing system. We hired some people that do some things, and we're not in great shape, but we're surviving right now. But the key is we have a new website. You could donate online if you want to send a donation into the rescue squad, but we're in an area that it's very hard. We collect about 23 to 25% of our billing. That's it. So on every $1,000 we bill, we may get $250. And we're running 24/7, 7 days a week, 2 ambulance, 4 people on a shift. So expenses are pretty high. And, you know, you don't get the money that you would. People don't have insurance. We have trouble with people getting reimbursements from the insurance company. If they get their check, they don't send it into the rescue squad, and we got to go file against them. So if anybody wants to donate to the rescue squad or anything, you could go online, and Craig Whitaker runs that website, and he does an outstanding job, and he's really helped the rescue squad a lot with all his knowledge. But like Jim said, we need that squad here. We got a senior center across the street, and it services all of Bristol Borough and parts of Bristol Township. So.
Okay. The next budget deals with the street and traffic lighting. Deals not only with paying PICO or our energy supplier, but also the maintaining of these lights by the borough, as well as buying the equipment necessary to keep the lights on. And that millage would stay the same under this proposed budget of 4.85 mils. So, and we do project a reasonable, balance in that fund. Back in 2020, we're down to $14,000, and we've certainly built that up a little bit over the last few years. So I don't know if anyone has any.
Do we have a program right now to change from what we have to LED?
we're looking at it, we're getting quotes for the lighting, and that's about where we're heading, because they basically do not make the other type of bulb.
High
But
pressure
certainly the
sodium.
LED, the high-pressure sodium. The LED lights have certainly improved over the years, and if you get a good quality light, I think we're going to be okay. And hopefully it'll be less costly to the borough in terms of, cost to our energy supplier and the number of times we have to change those bulbs out.
Right.
So, I will have in your packet maybe a list of a couple ones that we've just put in. Take a look at them, see if you're satisfied. But I know Kevin Everett seems to be impressed, so if Kevin's impressed, I think I'm going to be impressed, so.
I just think that once we started a program before to change them, and if you look around town, there's so many lights out right now. And if somebody would just call the borough to let us know there's a light out or going off and on, we'll go out and fix them, but it's getting harder to get the high-pressure sodium bulbs, the balusters for them, the photocells, where you get an LED head, you just change it, and it's there for, 5, 7 years, if not more. And I think it's cheaper in the long run. I know it's going to lower our energy costs. So I think it's something we really should look at in '24 about moving forward to, get a supplier on a state bid list or somebody that's selling these LED lights. If you see the new bridges and all, they all have them when you go over. So I think we need to move in that direction.
Definitely.
Okay.
And the other remaining tax fund is what's called the Special Road Fund. That's 2.42 mils. It's been that millage for a number of years, and that help pays for Public Works staff. And so that's a pretty simple budget. I don't know if anyone has any other questions on that.
How about, go ahead.
Okay. Again, that's the last of the tax funds except the general fund, and I'd say we can come back to that, but we can go over these other,
Do you want to go through these last few?
yeah, I'd suggest we go through that. We have the capital improvement budget, and the main source of funds have been when people pay the borough for old water bills, we put the money into this account, and that gives you the opportunities to purchase, various capital items, and you can see the list of some of the capital items that are listed here in the budget, but we're down to only about 60,000 we project by the end of the year, but it's really helped us over the years buy various pieces of capital improvement items, so.
Before we move on, Jim, do we have anything in for this building this year? Because we need I think the whole exterior of the building needs to be repainted and freshened up and pressure washed, and we just fixed the roof with all the leaks. And then I think we need to come inside the building, and it's been, 15 years or more since we painted everything, if not more. So I think we need to freshen our own building up this year.
And it's been maintained.
Yeah.
Now, but you have now,
Right, it needs, yeah,
so you don't get to worry about it.
all right.
The next item would be the refuse and street cleaning fund. You're aware that we advertised and received bids. We only received one bid for the new trash collection. And that new contract takes effect January of this coming year, 2024. For the past 9 years, we've been able to maintain the rates at $395 an EDU, not an EDU, per unit. I got my sewer hat still on at times. $395 per year assessment per unit. Under the new contract, that increases to $675 per unit. So that new rate will reflect an increase of approximately $5.38 per week per unit. So that's for twice a week pickup and bulk pickup each time, as well as the leaf pickup, et cetera. So that is an increase, but it's the first increase in 9 years. So.
Yeah, I think what everybody needs to understand is it's not just picking up your trash. I mean, it's your trash, it's the park's trash, it's the pad trash, it's the leaves, it's the whatever. There's so many different
And the street
things, the
sweeper.
street sweeper. I mean, all this stuff has to be dumped somewhere. It all goes into this budget. So, like Jim said, for $5 more a week, I mean, you get 2 pickups a week. They never complain about how much trash you put out. We think they're a good company, and I don't think it's that bad for where we're at right now. We've been lucky, and we signed a 7-year deal. So hopefully we can lock this in for, 5 to 7 years without an increase.
Okay. The investment fund deals with the sale of the water plant, the proceeds from the sale of the water plant. It shows, what the beginning balance and the ending balance has been and what it's projected to be. We do project a significant increase in interest earnings from this fund for next year, and you'll see that in the general fund budget. So the treasury bills has really helped our interest income in this fund. So, and we're starting to get some of that money from the firm that's doing our investment of our water funds. There's a small budget in there dealing with Mill and Ratcliffe Street reconstruction that deals with that state grant that we're getting, and we've already authorized the contract. We were going to try and get the job done before the tree lighting, but with getting the permit out of PennDOT, which is like pulling teeth, it was decided that it would be prudent to wait till the spring to start that work. So we didn't want to have half the Mill and Ratcliffe ripped up, and we're trying to light the tree. So we're just going to wait now until spring. But I think everybody will be impressed with that improvement. And again, it's from a grant, though it's going to cover the engineering cost also. So. I mentioned the state highway aid budget, or liquid fuels budget. That deals with the concept of paying off the bond, which is set to expire in June of 2025. We hope to pay it off under this budget June of 2024, and again, the borough will be totally debt-free. So that's what's proposed to be done with this state liquid fuels money. guess we're ready to go back to the general fund if you're ready to do that. That's the,
Well, yeah, go ahead. I just want to go through, try to go through each page, just to look at it. I mean, you could talk, but if somebody has questions on each page, anybody, whether it's police or whatever, you could talk about it at any time. So you see the revenue in the beginning, what our total income is? So our building permits were dropping considerably, right? From 21, we're 678,000 to 310,000 this year, because a lot of the construction around town's, starting to wrap up.
it's still the 310,000 projected for this year and 310,000 projected for next year is still higher than, say, 2020, when it was
Right.
down to 190,000.
Right.
So, and 169 in 2022, so, you know,
So does anybody have any questions on page 1 for Jim?
No,
No.
I don't.
And turn to page 2. Want to explain anything here, Jim?
Yeah, on page 2 of 9, at the top, interest transfer from the investment fund on the water sale. If you can see that we propose, or we anticipate, based on the advice of our financial firm that's handling the investments of the water, that we should receive $556,000 in interest at the end of this year. So that's above what we projected in the 2023 budget, so that's certainly a positive thing. And it's certainly higher than in years past. If you see, as an example, 2022 was 347,000. And we've had prior years that was even less than that, but what we've been advised by our financial advisor that we should project 720,000 in interest. So that's a significant increase, budget to budget. It's like $230,000 increase. So that's a good positive thing. But again, it goes up and it goes down depending on, interest rates. And you're limited to the type of investments you can do. You can't go out and speculate in the marketplace. But that's a good positive sign, so.
So we have 2 investment firms, right? One's handling the water money, and the other one's handling the
Sewer.
The sewer.
Because the sewer authority is still in operation.
Right.
We haven't, the DEP hasn't allowed the permit to be transferred from the sewer authority to Bucks County. We're going through a lot of paperwork, gymnastics. As a matter of fact, we're supposed to have a meeting next Monday, this coming Monday, on this subject, trying to get this thing resolved. But we probably won't be able to transfer the permit till sometime in 2024. and, you know, at which time you could dissolve the sewer authority, I believe, at that time if you wish, so. And then they can transfer those funds over to the borough.
So what I'm saying is that the investment firm for the water department, at one point, it was like 200 and some $1,000 because it was, are we going in different directions now with our investments? Or do we need them to come in and explain what's going on maybe in February or March? Both firms, see what they're investing in and,
Yeah, I see no problem if you want to ask them to come in and,
yeah, maybe,
but certainly, you know, I think they're both doing a
Yeah.
pretty good job given the market conditions, so.
all right.
One other, like a point of interest, at the bottom of the page, if you look at miscellaneous revenue, we had like a budget of 60,000, but as of the end of June, we received 345,000, and we're projecting 2024 to be back to 60,000. And there's two reasons for that high number. One, we did receive a grant for about 190,000, so it's a one-time receipt, but we have to go through an audit and prove that we're meeting the requirements as to where we're spending that money. So we hope to be able to do that and be able to maintain that 190,000, but that's only a one-time, you know, shot of that amount of money. So it's not a recurring revenue. So, you know, you like to have a budget where your recurring expenditures are matching your recurring revenue, but it's, sometimes it's not possible. And the other significant revenue towards that 345,000 is another, I'd say $100,000 we're getting from the insurance company, because we have a police officer has been out on disability, I believe, most of this year, and he has to be paid, so the insurance company is paying us because we took out an insurance policy anticipating, you know, such an issue occurring. So that's like a wash, so that one officer is not being paid for basically by the taxpayers. So that's at the bottom of page 2 of 9, general fund. So, you want to move on to page 3?
Yeah, I was looking at some things. It's on page 2, right? I'll go over with you. All right, page 3.
Okay. Page 3, at the top is the end of the various transfers that go into the general fund that's supported by some of the other funds, like street lighting and transfer from recreation. And the next 3, I think, are very important because they're from the sewer fund. The first one was 400,000, which has basically been going on for a number of years, whereby the sewer fund would reimburse the general fund for the work of staff, meaning Angie doing their payroll, paying their sewer bills, the manager running the sewer, you know, executive director, and the girls in the office handling phone calls, dealing with the sewer. So that 400,000 will probably go away, not probably go, not probably go away, it will go away at the end of 2024. So that's another revenue that's not going to be recurring. So that's something we have to address. Also, it's proposed to transfer from the sewer budget, $276,000, to pay for the salaries of the 3 employees that used to be at the sewer plant. You know, we had anticipated that at least 2 of them were going to stay there and work for the county and run the sewer plant, run the sewer system. But their union superseded our employees, and a lot of their, some of their employees transferred down to the sewer plant. So council has absorbed those 3 employees at the moment, their salaries, but basically they're being paid for by the sewer. But that sewer revenue is going to run out, you know, at the end of 2024. So that's another issue that we won't have, or you won't have in 2025, that revenue stream coming in. And also, the next one deals with transfer from the sewer for the pensions responsibility, or MMOs, for that operation. That's $485,000, so that's going to be a one-time transfer per this budget 2024 that you won't have next year. So there's some significant things that you have to evaluate, you know, as we go forward here, because we don't have that recurring revenue.
So that's definitely what I want to let everybody understand right now. These 3 expenses are not going away, right? We have these employees, we have the secretaries, we have Mr. Dillon, and we have the pension fund. So that's going to be over $1 million we need to come up with after this transfer, because we don't own the sewer plant anymore, but we still have the cost. So that, you know, it's $1 million every year, if not more. We got to come in now through a general fund. Am I right, Angie? So I don't know where this money's going to come from. I know the interest rates are good right now and stuff like that, which we can, you know, shift money from here to there, but if things go back to the way they were, the borough's got problems again. I mean, right now, we're on cruise control, but we need to look ahead for the next 5 or 10 years, whether we're here or not, whoever's here, to understand the pension fund's going to be the pension fund. I mean, you know, until these guys retire, we're still going to have an expense. And we brought 3 employees over at $400,000. So it's not all peaches and cream. Okay, sorry.
No problem. Now, in the middle of page 3 of 9, we start the expenses. So page 4 of 9 deals with payments to the tax collection office, auditing, and legal fees and engineering. Office supplies, data processing, this is all on page 4 of 9. Page 5 and 9, this telephone, electric, supplies.
Try to catch up to you.
That's on page 5 and 9.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. And then,
So, building repairs, you got 18,000. Capital webpage. Building maintenance, we got 50,000. All right. So you want to go into the police on page 5 and 9?
and in my cover message there, I said this budget is based on compensating 10 full-time officers. That's what's required under the labor agreement. So certainly, I think the one officer, hopefully he'll be able to come back, but I'm not sure he will be from the medical data that I've seen. He'll probably be going out on a long-term disability pension, I would suspect sometime in 2024, so that puts you to 11, but still, this budget, calls for, 10 full-time officers.
So we have a police budget of 3.2 million, 3.247 million for 10 full-time officers and 5 part-time officers. Correct?
Correct.
I thought when we broke the $1 million budget at one point, it was, and look, you guys deserve you put your life on the line for us every day, but again, there's only so much to go around.
Certainly what's helped over the years has been the RDA, with their purchasing of police vehicles for the department as well as the highway department. So that's additional expenses taxpayers haven't had to incur.
Do you have anything, Ralph, you or Joe, or you guys good right now? All right. Well, go to the fire.
Chief Slack sent me an email today, asked about some adjustments. I want to talk to him further, and then I'll get that information out to you to see how to adjust this budget here.
So the 17,000 in fire department personnel and EMA, that's salaries for who?
EMA, the fire chief, and the 2 deputy fire chiefs.
We do have 2 deputies? Okay, I remember we had 1 before.
Paul and then AJ DeAngelis is the second one.
Okay, that's fine. Well, I don't know what we pay Merle, but I'm sure he should get an increase. Huh?
Merle's in that
Third.
line item too.
He's in for 3,500. Certainly should.
He's in the 17.
Right.
I said, I don't know what we're paying him, but he should get an increase. Because nobody works harder than him. Everywhere you go, he's there. Any questions on that fire thing?
No, we just have to wait till he meets with Mr. Dillon.
All right, 7 and 9.
Page 7 and 9. If you have any questions on any of that, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Eight of 9.
You see, the second line deals with that 276,000, which deals with the 3 sewer employees that we're carrying, so that shows the wash. So, see how that goes in 2024. So even with the reduction, that was mentioned, we're going to wind up with less of an ending balance than, that's projected for the budget than what we started. You see this, we anticipate at the end of this year, winding up with a $618,000 balance that will be used to offset almost a $220,000 negative operating general fund budget. So we'll be eating into that balance to get us through 2024 as the budget is presented at this time.
Jim, what's our MMO for this year for both? I know we voted on that and passed it.
You have that, Angie, the two MMOs off the top of your head are both about 500,000 apiece, I think. We'll have that in your.
Do you have it, Angie?
No, I don't.
So the two MMOs that we have for the police and non-uniform, we're going to be able to meet that this year,
In 2024,
but we didn't meet it, or we did meet it in '23.
we did meet it.
But which year didn't we meet it, '22 or '21?
20 and 21,
20 and 21, we did not meet our obligations.
Paid everything in 2022.
Okay. So, I mean, don't forget, our pension funds are still way underfunded. So,
About 50-some% underfunded. Significant.
well, and that's been like that since before I came here. So, it's, like I said, the budget's a guide. Jim and Angie worked on it. I want to thank them for all the time they put into it. And everything, like I said, and the chief for the police department. The street, everybody submitted a budget, street and highway, police, fire, everybody submits their budget. Even the rec board submitted a budget, which is good. And if you have any questions from now until Monday, you could email Jim or ask any questions you want, or Angie is available. Do you want to pass this at the December meeting, you're saying?
Yeah, by law, you have to pass it by the end of December 31st. But now, since you technically have a new council that's elected, you can reopen the budget in January, but then you have to adopt it, I think, by February of next year. But, you have to advertise this budget.
Monday night. So Monday night's agenda will be to advertise this budget
Yeah.
and adopt it on December 11th, correct?
December 11th, have all the tax ordinances ready for December 11th for you to consider adopting.
Okay. Any questions? Do you have anything to say?
Nope. Thank you for taking care of this, Angie and Mr. Dillon, and your hard work. And you.
Is that it?
Yeah, I just think you should make it clear to the public, since you're saying that the borough's short on the pension deficit, that it's a statewide issue. It's not just the Bristol Borough issue.
Oh, no.
I mean, it's something that, the state's billions of dollars shortfall on their pension funds, and it's not just something that we've been dealing with. It's
Right.
going on all over through the state.
Yeah, the state's billions of dollars underfunded, billions. So, but we met since we've been here, we have met our obligation every single year except one or two, and then we paid that, right? So we paid them obligations. We have never missed an obligation since this council's been here, which I think is great. All right, so we'll see everybody Monday night. Should be hopefully I'm not gonna say it.
Okay, yes, okay.
Hopefully it's a short meeting. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
To adjourn.
Second. Meeting adjourned.